guy standing there dancing wildly is Chai. He wants to be a rock star, but he has a jacked up arm. So he goes to Vandelay Technologies to get a robot arm. And clearly the robot worker is pretty much done with life at this point. Chai grabs his ID card and takes off to the operation building. He gets inside and is kicked in the chest to prepare him for the surgery. His clothes and iPod get sent to a storage area. But the CEO of the company, Kale Vandelay, grabs his iPod and he starts complaining about the test subjects. And then he tosses the iPod over the balcony, which ends up landing on Chai's chest before the operation takes place. When Chai wakes up from the operation, he has his new robot arm installed, but he also has this new audio device implanted inside of his chest. He can now sync everything in the world to the beat of the music. This implant is deemed a defect, and all of Vandelay Tech robots are trying to capture him. It just so happens that after his new upgrades, he gains great power that allow him to defend himself. He eventually meets a robot cat named 808. 808 is willing to navigate him out of the facility. Chai unknowingly touches 808 and synchronizes with him. The cat decides to guide him out of production and into quality assurance. This is where they are ambushed by Rekka. She is the head of production at Vandelay Tech. She sends out QA1 Mill, who is in charge of quality assurance, to destroy Chai. So Chai has to fight the giant robot. After defeating QA1 Mill, 808 leads them back to the hideout where you meet Peppermint. She agrees to help Chai escape the facility if he helps her look into Spectra. Her plan is to go back into production, hack into Rekka's computer, steal the Spectra files, and get out. So Chai and 808, they head through production, and they eventually come face to face with Rekka, where Chai defeats her and gets her personal passkey. They then head into Rekka's office, where Peppermint finds out that Spectra gives the company access to people's minds. But Chai decides to press the flashing red button on the console after Peppermint told him to make it stop ringing. This leads to a Zoom call with all of the other bosses of Vandelay Tech. They talk for a second, and Peppermint grabs Chai, who is boasting, and heads back to the hideout. When they get back to the hideout, Peppermint tests the mind control device on Chai, and she forces him to help her stop the company from using Spectra. Peppermint lays out the next mission, where they would go to the R&D department, get to Zanzo's computer, download his Spectra files, and get out. Chai and 808 make it to the R&D department and begin heading to Zanzo's office. They navigate through the underground lava-filled cavern, looking for the office, while fighting all kinds of enemies sent out by Zanzo to catch them. Chai eventually makes it to a very large enemy, but he can't break his defenses, and he gets punched in the face and through a few walls, and then he falls through some glass and some flooring. This is where they meet Macaroon, who is a former worker at Vandelay Tech, and they also meet Cinnamon, who is an AI that tells the truth no matter what. They decide to head back to the AI labs, and eventually they meet the large robot again, but this time they have Macaroon to take out its defenses, which allows Chai to take it down. On the way to the office, they get confronted by Zanzo, who is ordering his robots to send out every advanced weapon to take down Chai. Right before the big fight between Chai and Zanzo, Zanzo gets defunded by the company because he used all of his budget and has no more funding. A defeated Zanzo tries to attack Chai, but Chai uses his guitar to smack Zanzo across the face and grabs his passkey. Then they plug it in and find out that the Spectra program has been approved for operation. They also found out that they'll need all of the passkeys to shut down Spectra. Suddenly, Kale bursts through the door and the group decides to run away. But Chai ends up getting caught by the head of security, Corsica, and taken into custody. Chai wakes up in a cell with Corsica talking to him. Chai tells Corsica that Spectra is a mind control AI and tells her to look into it. Corsica leaves the room and 808 is able to get into the cell through an open vent and brings Chai his weapon. Chai breaks out of the cell and Peppermint directs Chai to the long trek to Corsica's office. When they make it to the office, Chai is in a vent above Corsica's office. Corsica is sitting at her computer looking up information on Spectra. Chai falls through the vent onto Corsica, where they get into a fight, and Chai eventually knocks Corsica out and carries her to the rail system. Kale comes on the projector and fires Corsica, and then he sends a giant war robot to destroy the rail. Chai saves Corsica, and he takes her back to the hideout, where the team ends up saving Corsica's life by giving her an implant. So Corsica decides to help the group shut down Spectra. The group decides to go after Mimosa, who is the head of marketing. The plan is to go through the museum and sneak attack Mimosa and steal her passkey. So Chai heads down to the museum. As he is going through the museum, the group finds out that Peppermint is the sister of Kale, the CEO. Chai continues to the dressing room, but Mimosa isn't there. A group of robots is about to enter the room, so Chai decides to put on a shark costume. The robots tell him that he is late for the show and grab him and carry him to the concert. They find Mimosa on stage, and her and Chai end up fighting. Chai ends up beating Mimosa at her own concert and gets her passkey. The next target is Rogueford, who is the head of finance. The team actually decides to listen to one of Chai's bright ideas about how they should get into Rogueford's office. He has the great idea of shooting himself from a cannon into Rogueford's office. So the team decides to hack the large cannon, and Chai jumps right into the cannon excitedly, and he gets launched right into the direction of Rogueford's office. But there was a hot air balloon passing by that changed Chai's path, and he landed in the robot's cafeteria. Chai then had to fight his way out of the cafeteria, where he is saved by Peppermint, who is able to get him out of there. Chai then heads directly to Rogueford's office. But when he gets there, Rogueford transforms into a robot werewolf. Chai is able to defeat Rogueford and secure his passkey. The group only needs one more passkey to shut down Spectra, so the team jumped into the CEO's elevator and starts riding up to his office. When they get there, Roxanne Vandelay, Peppermint's mother, is there. Roxanne then traps the team in a force field, and they find out she is being mind controlled using Spectra. Kale then walks up and tells the group his grand plan. He plans to mind control everyone and then force them to buy his products. Kale then leaves, saying that it is time for his test run of Spectra. Chai tried to break the barrier with his guitar, but the guitar breaks into pieces. Then Chai used his Care Bear powers to break the force field, and the group goes after Kale. As they are getting closer to Kale, he activates a powerful giant robot. The group works together to get Chai past the robot, and the robot's hand gets stuck in a wall, and Macaroon holds the robot's arm in place while Chai chops it off. Then Cinnamon says that he can use the giant robot's blaster. So Cinnamon slowly runs over to the blaster, and the team helps him pick it up, and they blast that giant robot into oblivion. Then they head up to the top of the building where they confront Kale. The team works together to defeat Kale, and then they grab his passkey. Then they use all of the passkeys to overload and destroy Spectra. After it is all done, they talk to Roxanne, who says that the entire team needs to come and work for the company. She even has a job for Chai. Then Chai finally tries to learn to play the guitar. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.